have Mary Dring from Delta Vacations during this Delta Vacations week. How you doing today, Mary?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks, Amanda.
You're very welcome. Well, just before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that we will have Q&A at the end. Mary will be doing a demo on multi-destination bookings on the World Agent Direct portal. So if you do have questions, put those questions in chat. We will ask those. And then also this is recorded and you can rewatch this at your leisure in the Travel Cafe website under trainings and Delta Vacations. Mary, I know you have something special for the agents. Do you want to introduce that?
I would love to. Well, first of all, it's Travel Advisor Appreciation Month, so I just want to thank you, Evo family, Archer, for your partnership, not just last year, all these years, and we just have a little special video that's going out to you.
Happy Travel Advisor Appreciation Month.
All you do to serve our mutual customers
and share the gift of vacations
is what makes us who we are.
From all of us here at Delta Vacations,
Thank you for your partnership, support, and loyalty.
We're so proud of what we've accomplished together.
And we're thrilled for all that is yet to come.
To all of our travel advisor friends out there, I just want to extend a huge thank you for your partnership with Delta Vacations.
Thank you, Travel Advisors.
Thank you, Travel Advisors.
From the A-Team here in Salt Lake City, happy Travel Advisor Appreciation Month.
Thank you, Travel Advisors, for everything that you do each and every day to support Delta Vacations. We so appreciate you.
Thank you, Travel Advisors.
Thank you, Travel Advisors.
Hi, Travel Advisors. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
From Monroe, Louisiana, the birthplace of Delta Airlines. Thank you, Travel Advisors.
Thank you, Travel Advisors.
Thank you, Travel Advisors.
Hey, Travel Advisors. You're the backbone of our business. Thanks so much for your support.
That all together this last spring. I think you might have recognized someone in there. So again, just want to say thank you for everything you guys do to support Delta Vacations. Today, like Amanda said, I'm going to go over the multi-destination page on World Agent Direct. I know this is kind of one of those areas that seems to stump a lot of travel advisors out there. I think most of you, or many of you, have seen me do some demos on World Agent Direct. So today I thought I'd just do a deep dive initially into the multi-destination tab. And you know, if there's time at the end, I can go into other areas of World Agent Direct. We can talk about that. I have done this a couple of times with you, and I know it is on your Travel Cafe, right, Amanda? You've got me on here a couple times, I think, doing some World Agent Direct training.
Yes, totally. Again, that's in the Travel Cafe Trainings tab and then Delta Vacations.
Yeah, so this we'll put this on Travel Cafe as well, and this will kind of complete it so you'll understand a little bit better on how to book multi-destinations. Now, we call these multi-destinations, there's kind of two terms in the industry. We call it an open jaw, which means I'm going to leave from Los Angeles, go into Honolulu, let's say, in Hawaii, but I'm going to fly home from a different island. I'm going to fly home from the big island of Hawaii, from Kona. And so the open jaw is the end between Honolulu and Kona. So that's called an open jaw. A circle trip is something where I would actually connect the two. So I'm going from LA to Honolulu. I'm going to actually fly to Kona and then back to Los Angeles. That's a circle trip. What I'm going to show you today is a little bit more complex, but essentially the same concept, which is multi-destination. So I'm going to link several destinations, and I think Amanda put it in the beginning because we were talking about, Amsterdam this time of year is the tulips and that kind of thing. So I'm going to demonstrate a European booking because that seems to be the one that we really get kind of stumped on booking that. Single destination, it works very simply, and you'll see it when I pull this up on World Agent Direct. So you see these tabs at the top of our screen here, all of these different tabs: destination information, sales training, agent incentives, marketing materials. We talked about that yesterday. If any of you were on our call yesterday, I did talk about using that marketing materials tab and going into our marketing hub and really utilizing some of the customizable features of many of our promos and our specials and just our ongoing information out there. There's images and that kind of thing that you can use. Social media, resource center. We have our special deals and offers. This is where you're going to find our Travel Advisor Appreciation Month promo that we also talked a little bit about yesterday. And we've got another one out there that we're going to show you at the end of our session today of another incentive that we've put out there exclusively for Archer Travel and Evo. So I'm going to go into this booking tab here because that's really where I like to go anytime I'm making a booking. You can always start over here, but I actually like going into the booking tab here because this allows me a little bit more criteria when I'm going through and making a booking on World Agent Direct. So this is our single destination, which it automatically defaults to. It goes up into vacation packages. The next one over is the multi-destination tab, which I'll come back to that in a second. And then we have the hotel only tab, which you can just sell hotel only in any of our destinations. You only need a one-night stay and a $50 per person deposit to sell hotel only with us. So what I'm taking you through today is this multi-destination tab. So I've already kind of queued up some of it, but I'm going to walk through it for you so you can understand and see how this actually works. So up here, when I click on this, it typically defaults to departure time. I always go over to best price because honestly, I want the best price. And so what our site does is it marries all the flights together to give us the lowest price based on the criteria that you put in, based on the dates, the destinations, and so forth. So it starts out with the best price. The other thing about best price is I can always choose my cabin. So see down here, I can open this up and say, maybe I just want first class or Delta One, the lie flat beds. Maybe I want Premium Select or Delta Comfort. So these are all the different cabins I can go to. When I go to by departure time, it's actually going to just do based on departure times, and it's going to go segment by segment. I won't know the price of this until I actually go to the next page, which is selecting hotels. So this one is a little bit more open-ended. So stick with the best price when you come up to this. And then typically I like to go with a one-stop unless I know I'm going to a destination that's got multi-stops. But in this case, I know I've got non-stops all over going to Europe from the mainland here. So one stop, and I'm just going to stick with our any class. Now Delta Vacations never has basic economy. So basic economy, just so you know, and other tour operators sell this, but we can't be compared to that because basic economy means they don't get seat assignments, they're non-refundable, they also don't get any mileage credit when they fly basic economy. So keep that in mind if you're ever looking at another site that you're not booking basic economy, and if you are, you're making sure you're giving your customers the right information about when they do fly basic economy because it's very restrictive. So we stick with main cabin with Delta Vacations and up. So for today, I'm going to just look at something here. We're going to go from Atlanta. And right here, if you don't know city codes, we've got them in the site for you. You can click on that city code where the hand comes up, and you can click on any city codes. CDG, Charles de Gaulle. We're going to go to Paris today. We're going to start in Paris. And I'm going to leave on November 3rd. By the way, that's my 40th wedding anniversary. Just wanted you to know in case you wanted to send cards or flowers or anything. And then I'm going to need a flight. So we know we're going to need a flight. So, and then when I get to Paris, I need a hotel room. Now, I don't drive around in Paris. So I'm not going to get a car. Some people Want a car? We have cars. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to keep it simple, and we're not going to add a car rental. By the way, something we just started this year is we now include taxes for the car rentals. Up until this year, we never included them. When your customer got to the car rental, it was just the basic car rental. Now we're including all taxes. So that's great. You just have to pay any local fees that they collect at the airport. So from Paris, we're going to go to London. But you know what? So I'm going to leave on the 7th of November. So that's staying, what, 4 nights actually 3 nights in Paris. But now I'm going to go to London. But I don't need a flight because my travel advisor is going to book the Eurostar, which is the channel going under the channel in London. So as we go through, so I don't need a flight. Unfortunately, we don't sell that. You need to sell that separately, but that's pretty easy. But when I get to London, I am going to need a hotel room. So I'm going to click on one hotel room for us. From London, now I'm going to go to Amsterdam, one of my favorite cities. I'm going to go see those beautiful tulips and windmills, and it's just such a fantastic city, great museums. And we're going to go over on the 11th of November. Now I do need a flight, and I need a hotel room in Amsterdam. And we're going to fly back home from Amsterdam to Atlanta on the 14th of November. So I just need the flight, but when I get to Atlanta, I don't need a hotel room. So if that's where my final stay is. So I know it looks pretty simple, but it starts getting confusing when we get to the hotels. So I'm going to scroll down here, put some other information in. There's just 2 adults with us. I am going to mention, if you do have children, you always want to put their age at the time of departure, not how old they are today, because if they're 1 now and 2 and you want a seat later, you've got to put their age in when they travel. So keep that in mind. We have a promo right now. The Travel Advisor Appreciation Month promo is good for SkyMiles members. It's good for Europe for travel to the end of the year, as long as I book it by the end of this month. And it's called SMA 25. And I'm putting my SkyMiles number in there to make sure that I get that promotion on my booking. Not only that, I want all of these miles. So that's pretty much the basic of putting that information in initially. But there's some dates I need to change. I'm not going to stay in London that whole time. I've got, a friend there and I'm going to stay a couple of days someplace else, or maybe, I've got another hotel that perhaps we don't offer, which I can't believe because we have hundreds of hotels in London. We've been adding, by the way, last year we added over 400 4- and 5-star hotels throughout, not just Europe, but throughout the world. Last month alone, we added another 29 new hotels and properties. We also added over 200 new activities throughout the world. So we keep adding and cultivating our product to make sure we're matching that of that Delta SkyMiles customer, which is who we really cater to quite a bit. And even if they're not a SkyMiles customer now, you put them on Delta, they're going to want to be. So anytime they're traveling on Delta vacations and Delta Airlines, you want to sign them up or get them to sign up. They have to sign up now for a SkyMiles number. No obligation, totally free. They sign up, give them their number, and now they can start accruing miles, and so, in some cases, bonus miles. So if you can see this, this took me from Atlanta to Washington, D.C. I don't know why. Must be a little bit cheaper flying out of Washington, D.C. to Paris on Air France, but I know we've got a nonstop out of Atlanta. It's not worth it for me to go to Washington, D.C. One thing I like to point out here is these unpublished fares. So see this unpublished V class, unpublished V, unpublished V. We know that when you see an unpublished fare out there, that it's going to be typically less than what they can get on a delta.com. These are usually fares that are obviously unpublished. Sometimes you'll see fares that might be the same as published, but when they come up as unpublished, it means you can put a deposit down on these bookings. You don't have to pay it in full at the time of departure. So I'm not thrilled with this particular schedule, so I'm going to go down here and view more flights. And what pops up are some other options and schedules that we can view. So right up here at the top, to take that nonstop from Atlanta is only $139 total for 2 people. So for less than $70 per person more, I'm definitely going to take the nonstop flight out of Atlanta to Paris, leaving at 5 o'clock. London to Amsterdam, no problem. That looks good, $550. I could check another flight, but no problem for the sake of this. It's going to be on KLM. And then flying home, Amsterdam to Atlanta. This is also on KLM, serviced by KLM. But for the same price down here, I can fly home on Delta Metal, as we call it. Same price, no difference. This one's operated by KLM. This one's operated by Delta. So just slightly different fare here. As you can see, it's an ex unpublished fare, and that's what's causing it to go up a little bit more. So I'm just going to, I like my Delta, so I'm going to stick with Delta. KLM is great too. By the way, they just started nonstop service from San Diego 3 days a week on KLM. It's the first international flight that our Delta Sky team and JV partners have out of San Diego. So really exciting. Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays from San Diego. All right, so now we've got our flights. Paris, I'm not, we know we've taken the, the channel, as they call it, from Paris to London, but I've got to fly from London to Amsterdam and then from Amsterdam home. So this is all good. So now let's start looking at our hotels. This is the next section, selected section. Remember, I asked for best price. So what is populating over here is the best price of all the hotels in each of these destinations. Now, I'm not going to stay at an airport hotel. I'm going to go into the city, but it just pulls up the least expensive. So we started with the least expensive air. Now I'm going to go in and look at some special hotels and things. So as you can see here, it came up November 4th is when I arrived in Paris. I'm going to leave Paris and stay there for 3 nights. That looks great. I'm going to stay there for 3 nights before I hop on the channel. And then as I move down here, I'm going to get over here. You'll see these other areas to filter. So I can sort by SkyMiles members pick. We actually go out to our SkyMiles members and we poll them and ask them, how did you like the Malia Paris La Défense? And they give you these special ratings. And so these are actually by SkyMiles members. They love this hotel. They've validated it. But maybe that one's not exactly what we're looking for. I can go in here and sort it by price, if I know the name of it, or maybe I only want 4-star properties. I don't want the top of the line. I'm trying to be a little bit budget conscious. So then it's going to come up in 4-star rating or whatever the lowest rating is based on that. So I'm actually going to just click on best price. The other thing we can do, as I mentioned, you can select hotel by name. And as I'm getting into this, when you're looking at a single destination, this is just exactly the same as I've taught you before. Only what I'm going to show you is how you're going to do multi-destinations. But if I were just staying in Paris, going in Paris, coming out of Paris, going into Cancun or out of Cancun, this would be the basic information that you would need. The look is exactly the same. So filter by location. So maybe in Paris, I want to be in a particular area of Paris, near the Champs-Élysées, one of my favorite areas to walk around and shop. So now I'm, filtering it by these hotels that are in the Champs-Élysées. Another area is additional hotel filters. This is great. Maybe if you're looking at Cancun or some of these other Mexico, Caribbean destinations, you want all adult only. Or you want to know if they have a kids program. You can now filter by those areas as well. And if you know the hotels, you want to see a map, this is also going to give you a map of the different areas. So moving on down here, we'll look at some of these hotels. If I can move my scroll bar, there we go. Some of the hotels that I see here are all beautiful hotels. They have come up in price order. It still is coming up in price order, but I asked for a specific area. So let's just open up one of these here. This is a 5-star, the Hotel de Berry. It's a luxury hotel collection, which is part of the Marriott chain. And you'll see limited time offer, non-refundable. If I see a non-refundable hotel, just so you know, you're going to be paying for that under your deposit in full under the non-refundable. So I do like to compare what's the difference here. Same room, maybe down here, why is, for $300 more, do I really want a non-refundable hotel? So some of these you might want to look at. I always recommend getting a hotel that has breakfast daily in Europe, especially Paris. Their breakfasts are beautiful. They're great. You only need really that meal and maybe something a little bit, some cheese and crackers a little bit later, and then you go out for dinner later on. So let's just, for the sake of training, we'll grab this breakfast included room, a king deluxe room at this property. So that's going to take our price up $1,699 over the base price that we were looking at. So next, it should be coming up in our London destination. So we did select getting a hotel in London, but maybe I'm only going to be there for a night or two. So I'm going to show you how you're going to change the date on that hotel. So let's scroll back down. As you can see, I'm now in London, and it's got the 7th to the 11th. But you know what? Maybe I just need a hotel near the airport because I'm staying with friends there. So I'm just going to back up here, click on making it the 10th, and I'm going to click on the word change dates. And now it's just going to bring me back one night hotel in London. And because I want to stay near the airport, I want to stay near Heathrow because I'm staying with friends in town. It's going to come back again, all the hotels in London, but let's check out and see if we've got something near Heathrow, because maybe I'm going to take an early flight out the next morning, which I'm actually not. It's an evening flight, but let's just pretend it's morning flight. So again, let's pick the price here. And you can see, usually the price is least expensive near the airport. Here's a Renaissance London Heathrow, queen bed, perfect. For one night, it's the same price. I'm not spending any more than what I've already got here. It must have pulled that hotel in the very beginning, so we'll just confirm the Renaissance Heathrow Airport Hotel. So pretty simple. You're just going to change the dates if you need to change something. This works great for your pre and post cruises. So if you know you're going to be in Amsterdam, you need to be there with Delta Vacations, you need 3-night minimum stay to get those unpublished fares in Europe. So 3-night minimum stay, they don't have to be consecutive. I can do 1 night in Amsterdam, 1 night in London, and 1 night in Paris. However, and still satisfy and get those unpublished rates coming back to me. Now, something that did change as of April 1 that you need to know, when you do a 3-night minimum stay on any long-haul flight, whether it's to Japan, New Zealand, Africa, or Europe, 3 nights minimum stay in order to get the published fares. Those unpublished fares are only going to be available, or the package price is going to be at 8% commission. You guys get 15% commission with Delta Vacations. But if you're only selling a 3-night hotel if you're only selling 3 nights hotel, you're only going to get 8%. So key, 4 nights hotel on any of those long haul flights, whether it's, like I said, Japan, Africa, Asia, long haul. Those, if you get 4 nights, you're going to get a full 15% commission on your hotel stay. This is as of April 1st, so just keep that in mind. 3 nights, 8%, 4 nights, full 15. This does not apply to your to North America, Cancun, Mexico, Caribbean, Hawaii. All of those still stay at 15% commission regardless. You just need minimum night stay there as well. If you need to know where to find the minimum night stays and that criteria, I can show you at the end. You can put that in the questionnaire box for Amanda, and we can go over that at the end if you need to know where to find that information. I have shown that before. All right, so I've got my one-night stay in London already booked. Now I'm in Amsterdam. You can see 11th to the 14th. I do want to stay there all 3 nights in Amsterdam. Again, let's take a look at the prices that come up in Amsterdam. We'll do least expensive. But, you know, actually, I know that I like to stay in the canal area. I don't know if it comes up canals, but when I look, yeah, I definitely don't want to stay near the airport. I don't know all those, but the museum quarter, that's a great area if you want to stay near the museum quarter. Because that is near the canals, which are the iconic looking, the little houses that are all on the canals in Amsterdam. This NH Amsterdam, actually, I do know this property. It's a great little property here, and not that much more for the 3 nights. So it's a double, twin, breakfast included, limited time offer for less than $500 more for 3 nights. This is a great little property, great location. If you ever want to know anything about the property, you can always click on it while you're in the shopping area on World Agent Direct. I could have clicked right on that hotel. All right, next we're going to now go to the transfer or car rental page. So here it's going to start me again back at the beginning. I'm going to go Paris, London, Amsterdam again. So private car round trip, private minivan round trip, private van transfer. Otherwise, I don't have transfers. I can book the transfers. This is how much it is per vehicle. I will tell you in Paris, it might be a little bit less if you hop in a taxi, but you're on your own in a taxi. But it might be a little bit less, but maybe your clients do want to have that confirmed private car round trip back to the airport. But remember, in Paris, we're not going back to the airport. So I'm not selling a transfer at all in Paris because I'm actually going to go to the Channel afterwards to Eurostar. So I don't need a car rental for this location. And so I'm going to scroll down and go continue. Next, we're going to London. I know this is a little bit longer than maybe some of you have booked in the past, but maybe it will get you over that hump and start selling a little bit more with Delta. If your customers are looking at flying KLM, Air France, Delta, SAS, which is coming up soon to Copenhagen, then you know what? This is not that difficult to book these multi-destinations. We've got hotels in all of these different areas. Okay, so now in London, oh goodness, no, I would never drive in London. We don't have transfers here, so we're going to just keep moving right along. No car rental desired in this destination. Again, just getting a taxi here is probably the easiest. Some of those fun little taxis, those little, I don't even know what they're called. Maybe Amanda, do you know what they're called? Those little fun little taxis. They're like, I don't know, in Monty Python movies.
I have no idea.
I know. You know what I'm talking about? They're little black cars. They're so cute with the little hats and stuff. Those are so fun to take. Even just driving around in London, those are very fun. All right, now I'm in Amsterdam. And again, Amsterdam is actually really easy to get around. They have a train that takes you right out to the airport and takes you into town. And I've walked around in there. Again, some people might want that private car, but again, I don't think I need to spend the extra money. So no car rental desired. I mean, they do have the private car transfer. It's per vehicle. So just so you know, we can do that. Here's your luggage. Here's your information on getting a private transfer. So we're going to skip the transfers on this tour, do our own thing, take a taxi, or, you know, what have you. So again, starting over, now I've got all my tours and activities. One thing to note on the tours and activities, you don't need to book them now, but you can send this to your customer so they have the information. So up here in the top, it says print or email activities. You can send all of these activities over to your customer because I'm not leaving until November. Maybe I don't know yet. You know, we're just trying to get our travel schedule down right now. But come, you know, maybe just before, a couple weeks before the final payment is due, which is typically at 30 days prior, I want to look at these activities. So you can either send them to them now, or you can go back into their record and actually get those tours and activities and resend them to your customer later on. So as you can see, we have a ton of activities. I don't have a slide up here, but one of my favorite things to do in Paris, especially because they have wonderful food tours, and we have food tours, are these secret food tours. We have them in the Marais, Montmartre, and this tour, pastry tour, is super fun. Make sure they've got, something in their stomach, because if you're just going to give them all these pastries and everything, they're going to bonk, because it's all sugar buzz, from macarons to chocolate to everything. I did the secret food tour in Montmartre, which is beautiful because I'd never been to this area of Paris before. So I kind of got the tour of Montmartre plus all these very local little restaurants, or they're not even restaurants, they're outlets. So this one only sells the meats, all the different meats. So we went there and we picked up our salami. Then we went to just the cheese store and we sampled all different cheeses, but we bought a few cheeses. Then we went to the macaron shop and bought, different macarons, however you say them. And then wine, we picked up wine. And then we went back to this cool, almost like, I don't even know what you call it. It's this underground kind of room that this gentleman had, and we sat around and he talked story about all these different things and the crackers, and just ate, met each other. It was a very small group. I think there were only 8 of us in there, and it was delicious and fun, and it's so great. And then when we were done, we just toured and walked around the Montmartre area of Paris, which is just so special of an area. So getting really off topic on that, but I do like these secret food tours because they really take you into some really unique areas. They're really, as the guide goes, and this guide, that is the name of the company, Secret Food Tour. So even if you want to go out there and Google Secret Food Tours, you'll see them, all these different areas. And we have them throughout Europe. Not on just Europe, we have them now in Japan. We have them now all over the world. So we're gonna pick a secret food tour. And right now, I know that they want to do that on the day after they arrive. So this is great. You can open these up and actually see the information as you see here on the secret food tours when they're offered, where they travel. So just giving you some idea of doing a tour. So next, again, we're going to go to London. Here's all of our London packages. You can see some really fun stuff. Oh man, what's been so popular are all that, I think they still have it. Let me see. Do we still have them here? Yep, Harry Potter. These are so popular. And you do want to book these in advance because they do sell out, especially if you're going in peak season. But you can see these Making of Harry Potter. They have an AM and PM. This tour is non-refundable. So if they're going to do it, make sure they know it's non-refundable. So again, just showing you some other of the tours that we have. Secret Food Indian Tour. If you're going to do a tour in London, and I want to do this because I don't know much about Indian food, but what I've had is delicious. And outside of India, this is the best place on earth to get Indian food, is in London. So that would be a really fun food tour. And it's not that expensive for what you're getting. That is amazing. So check it out, Indian food tours. Amsterdam, we're going to get hopefully more here, but we do have a secret food tour in Amsterdam. I know I'm going to go to the Rijksmuseum, Anne Frank. You got to book those online and way in advance. If you're going to go see the Anne Frank house, which I've done there before, we don't have it here, but you can book that. Definitely got to book that way in advance because that does book up. And it's a really special tour to go see the Anne Frank house. So we'll just keep going on here. I've gotten through all of those. Now to the fun part, not really, insurance. Now remember, we offer insurance, we don't sell insurance, but I want to tell you something that we did change on our insurance programs this year. First of all, this page gives you all the different options of insurance that we have. You can also get more information under the Resource Center where we talk about the insurance programs. But you can see here, anywhere it's got terms and conditions, make sure you're clicking on this because terms and conditions do apply to different states that you're in, different coverages. Now this is underwritten by Allianz, which is, in my estimation, the best travel insurance company out there. They are phenomenal. They were great through COVID and just a really great insurance company. So as we go down here, I'm going to show you, we have the 3 different plans here: premium plan, plus plan, and basic. And I'm going to give you a little overview of these 3 plans. Now, first of all, you need to be putting insurance on all your packages. With the global political nature going on right now, you never know. Things happen in this world and they're out of your control. And people may need to cancel for any reason. And these are for any reason cancellation policies. So before they travel, they can cancel for any reason up to the day of departure. You do need to call and actually cancel. They cannot no-show, but as long as the door hasn't closed on that plane, then we can cancel a booking. So that's really key. These 3 programs, the basic, we'll start there. The basic program is just that. It covers them, still cancel for any reason, has great insurance cover while they're in destination for medical, trip interruption, all of that. The difference here becomes in the refund. The refund policy goes back to a voucher for future travel credit. So just know that anything that is covered by the insurance will be covered. They'll just get future travel credit. Your commission is protected on the basic up to $100. So just know that. The Plus program. Plus is a little bit better. They do get their refund back to the original form of payment. So this is kind of important to know the differences. Now between these 2, there is a pretty big difference in price because we fund this. If they cancel beforehand, we're funding it. So that's why you'll see a bigger difference in price. But again, we cover your commission up to $100. For this, and they get the plus protection and the refund back to the original form of payment. This is, I'm giving you a high level information on these, that what distinguishes them between each other. Now this new plan, we brought this in last fall, the premium plan. All of these plans vary by the value or the price of the package. It's not a flat rate. It varies by the price of the package, not by their age, not by pre-existing conditions. So just keep that in mind. The premium. Now there's not a big cost difference between the premium and the plus. So if you're selling the plus, sell the premium, because really that premium is going to give them, again, their money back to the original form of payment. It's going to protect your commission now up to $500. And if they have to be emergency evacuated, it covers them up to $500,000 in coverage once they're in destination. So if any of you have ever had anybody had to evacuate, this is going to cover the ambulance, a taxi ride, them being helicoptered out, or having to upgrade. Maybe I did only book main cabin, but now I got to fly back first class because I got to have my feet up or whatever if I broke my ankle. It'll cover the difference between what their price was and what the additional amount is to fly back in Delta One. So $500,000 seems like a lot. It goes very fast. The other 2 protections on trip interruption or emergency evacuation is $50,000, which is still a very good amount. Now, the other key difference between these 3 amounts is your commission. Now, we have the basic commission on basic, is 14% commission. Not bad. The plus is now 16% commission. And the premium is now 18% commission. So again, as I said, if you can sell plus, sell the premium, because the price, let's see how it's covered. Let's see if I'm telling you the truth, if there's not too much difference between those 2. So sorry, I'm scrolling down here. So as you can see, here's my base, $155 per person. It goes up $100 per person for the plus, but look, it only goes up $40 per person for the premium. Heck yeah. I'm going that long, $295 per person for insurance, for all of that coverage, for their protection, for my protection and my commission. I'm going to put the premium on there. Talk about the fees, what they're covered for, and then I'm going to put an agency service charge on here. Agency service charges, you keep 90% of that fee. So if you're charging $100, you're actually going to take home $90. I'm going to keep $10 of that. Keep in mind, you're charging your customer this. If they cancel, they get the $100 back. you don't get the $100 because they paid it. We're not going to pay you $100 and then pay them back the $100. So just FYI, because I get that question a lot for that protection. But hey, you're doing a lot of work here. It's worth adding up a little bit more for them. You're still getting your commission on these bookings, but you can up that. Keep in mind here, you guys, this is something that we recently changed with Archer Evo. Make sure that you're putting in the travel documents to the following email address. Otherwise, it's defaulting to Susie here in the office, okay? You're not going to get your travel documents or your invoices. So make sure you're adding your email address here on both documents and invoices, okay? All right, we've made this great booking out here. Got my flights, got all my flights. At this point, I can change any flight. I can go back in and change flights. Oops, sorry, that went down too fast. I've got all my hotels. I can change hotels. As you can see, change hotels in Paris, London, Amsterdam. I can still look at these hotels. See, anytime that hand pops up, I can change hotels or look at any of this anytime it comes up. And then down here are my activities, which I can also change activities and add them later on. Here's my service charge. Here's a premium protection plan. It's $590. I can change this. I can change the service plan, as you can see. And then as I click on agent details, this is going to tell me how much the package is, which is $64.01. Pretty good price for all that we're doing here. Round trip air, your intra-Europe fares, your hotels, your tours, all of those that we've put together, $6,400. My discount amount, that was the promo that I put on here. If it was $7,000 or more, I would have had $250. I'm slightly under that, so $125 off the package for your customer because they're SkyMiles customers. So now my discounted price is $62.76. That's what my customer is going to pay. Commissionable amount, because we're not paying commission on taxes and things like that. And then my commission. Now, that's not your commission. That's what is in my test thing here. Yours is actually going to be better than that, but still not bad commission on that particular package. Commission on air. Let me just kind of really quickly explain something to you. On the air, we have 3 tiers. So your Delta One and first class commission. This is regardless of where you're flying to. Delta One is now 6% commission, whether it's a published fare or unpublished fare. That was automatically in here. Your next commission level is Delta Premium Select or Comfort Plus. Now those are 5% commission. That's what we used to have on everything, was 5% commission. Now it is 5% on that cabin. Main cabin, which is what we booked here, is 4% commission. So just keep that in mind. So your 4% commission on this, I've got 4 nights or more on this package. So your land commission here is your full 50, would have been your full 15. So just know that you have that. And then your commission on the insurance, because I sold that upper tier, is 18%. So that's all bundled in to that commission amount that we have down here, including the $100 markup fee that we put on this booking. As I mentioned, I didn't book any non-refundables. They were all unpublished airfare. So now my deposit due is $14.48. I don't have to pay for that airline ticket in full. And the final's not due until October. What $14.48 is the insurance. It's your $100 that you put on here. And it's the $250 per person deposit, just the basic deposit for this particular booking. So that is what is included on that deposit, with the final being due October 4th. Again, here are your cancel fees. And I'm going to scroll back up real quick. At this point, I can email this whole itinerary to my customer. Not book anything, just send this to them. Hey, this is what we've got so far. It'll come up on here. I'm going to try it and see if it shows it. It looks like, Can you see that, Amanda? Did that pop up?
Yes.
Great, because when I do it from home on a Teams call, it never pops up. So I'm glad I can show this to you. This is what you can send over to your customer. You're not booking anything. Hey, this is what I've got for you so far. You can see, you can email it right here, but I wanted to show you what it's going to break down. It's going to show them the flights, show them the 3 hotels. It only breaks down my tour in Paris. And it's going to show them that they got $125 off because they're SkyMiles customer and I applied a discount. So this is their discounted price. It doesn't show your markup. It didn't show anything like that. We don't break anything down on here. So this is what your customer is going to see. I can email it to them. There's a free form field in there that says, hey, here's what I've got for you for your Europe trip. Let me know if this looks good for you and we'll go ahead and book it. Prices are not guaranteed until I've actually made the booking. So that is just a demo for you to see what you can send to your customer at that last page. Okay, I've read all the rules. I'm going to purchase now. And now I'm come to my fill-in format pages where I can fill in all the names, fill in frequent flyer. If you're booking something international, by the way, it's going to ask you for the passport information. You can go back in and change it because I just tried to do this the other day. It allowed me to change the passport information. So if somebody gets a new passport in the meantime, remember you got to have 6 months of validity from the date of departure on that passport. So keep that in mind. Somebody's out there with that. So I'm not going to fill all this out for the sake of time so we can answer some questions. But this is where I fill out all my information of my customer. This is what's going to allow me to actually hold the space that I just booked, all of this. You do need that information. And then if I click on continue, it won't let me go because I didn't fill anything out. It's going to ask me about what their hotel preferences were. King, queen, smoking, non-smoking, celebrating 20th anniversary, whatever it is. Put their Hilton Honors numbers in there or their Bonvoy numbers in there. I never guarantee that the hotel is going to do anything for them, but I always put it in there just in case. And then you're going to go to another screen. It's going to say, does this all look correct? You're going to say, yeah, submit, and you're going to get a booking number. We're done. You got, I don't recall what the date was that you had to do a deposit on that, but, oh, that's right, it was October, but the deposit on it, I think, was pretty instant. Anyway, that really is how, everything is the same after, I put in the basic information. The hardest one is how do I fill out that first grid page on all the different destinations and then changing the date so I know, hey, I've got to do pre, I'm going to do post. Stays, and because I'm going to do a cruise in between, so I want 2 nights in Barcelona and 2 nights in Rome. I'm going to just change the dates and put all where I want my flights. So hopefully that will help you out in the future on how to book multi-destination on World Agent Direct. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Amanda, do you have some questions out there I can go back and answer?
Perfect. Yes, I do. So the first question is, did you show where we can see any resort or additional fees while you're choosing a hotel?
Where you're going to put your agent, if I'm understanding the question correctly, if you want to put agency service fee on a booking, it's done at the end of it. It was a separate page that popped up that said I can pick whatever, amount I wanted. You can actually put more on there by calling us up, and I've had people do that, actually call us up and put more than what you can put on there. But I think even when I got to the last page, so it said agency service fee here. I'm clicking on that. Let's see. Oh, it's taking me back. Yeah, I think it's just a back arrow to get to the agency service fee. I'm not sure why it came this page. Change agency service fee.
On that page, does it show resort fees if there are any?
It will if you pull up the actual hotel information. I don't know why this keeps coming up with the insurance page. I'm going to have to report that. Oh, here. This is what it's coming to. It's not the insurance page. It's now I can put agency service fees on here. It was under the insurance. See, it's on here. It's up to what is that? $500? Oh no, it's up to $2,000. I can put actually more than that. When I go into a hotel, or if I had a hotel that had resort fees, like a lot of those in Hawaii have resort fees on them, it will pop up and it'll say $35 a day additional resort fees. And typically I say, you know, anytime you're looking at hotels, usually it's Hawaii that has those resort fees. I go into the destination tab and then I'll click on different hotels. And when you go into that destination tab, because I think we're specifically speaking of Hawaii, and you're going into the hotel, you want to look at, most likely this hotel has resort fees. It usually says good to know, you know, things like this. Those are the renovations. It should tell you in a hotel overview or room types. A lot of times it will tell you that property info and have resort fees. Of course, the one I'm picking, I'm not seeing the resort fees on, but it will tell you if it has resort fees. And almost everything in Hawaii has resort fees. I will tell you that the Nipilikai Beach Resort does not have resort fees. One of my favorite hotels in Maui.
That's absolutely wonderful. Next question is, if the client doesn't book the activities in the booking and is fully paid, but decides last minute to book that activity, does that email you mentioned earlier have a link that takes them back to the original booking?
Well, if you wanted to pull up any booking, I'm going to go to the home page now. And since I didn't book anything, that booking's not going to come up. But the home page, by the way, that video that we just did is right here on World Agent Direct. So the one that she did in the very beginning. But I can view my bookings right here. I can pull up any of my bookings if I have a booking number, whether I did it on World Agent Direct or if I called in to make a booking. There's no difference in commission or anything if you call in and make a booking with us. But if you put the booking number in here, it'll come up and then you can go in and add activities. You can add activities up until the day of departure. I just always mention, try to add them, you know, before the final payment, so it's included. But it'll come up and you'll be able to add the activities and it will reprice, but you most likely will have to pay right at that time for that additional activity if it was a day or two before they're ready to depart on something like that. I'm hoping I'm answering that question correctly.
Perfect. And then next one is, how do we send the activity info to our clients?
Yeah, like I said, when I pull it, unfortunately I probably don't have any bookings in here. I'm going to pull this up and I don't think there's a booking in here. No. But if I had a booking, active booking, and I clicked on pull up my bookings, I could open this page and it would list all the bookings I've made on World Agent Direct. Once I see all that list, I can click on to that particular booking of that client, and right there it'll ask you, it says, do you want to change the personal information? As I mentioned, you can put the passport number in, put different information. Do you want to add activities? It says, do you want to add activities? Do you want to change transfers? There's a whole list going down the side of it that you can actually go in and click on that. And I actually like it better than doing it in the booking path, what I just did, because when you go back into the booking and pull it up, it comes up with pictures and has a lot more information. It's more consumer friendly, if you will, when I pull it up afterwards. I'm sorry, I don't have a demonstration of an active booking because I don't book. So, and this is under my login. But if any of you have an active booking that you've made, you can go in and take a look at that and you'll see where you can add, you can change activities, change transfers, change personal information, do seat assignments there. So you'll see all of those on the side that you can pick which one you want to go back in and do. And then at the top of the page, where you click on that booking, just like I showed you in the booking path, at any time I can actually go in and print and email a copy to my customer.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, that looks like the last question for now. So if you guys think of any more questions, you can reach out to the Delta Vacations support team through the World Agent Direct portal. You can always call us here at Archer Travel. We can help you out as well. And that's pretty much it. Mary, do you have anything else you want to add before we close out?
Yeah, I do. You know what? I think you have that flyer, Amanda, of the agent incentive that we've got going right now that's exclusive for Archer Travel. So we launched this the 1st of May. If you didn't see it, don't worry. You're getting credit for it. As you can see, for every passenger you book in Comfort Plus, you're going to receive a $10 voucher towards your own flights on Delta Airlines. For every passenger you book in Premium Select, you receive $20 voucher towards your own flight. And Delta One, first class, you're going to receive $30 voucher towards your own airline ticket. So this is a flyer. Amanda, you'll put this out, I think, on Travel Cafe if you want to see the information, the details on what's required. Looks like a 4-night Delta Vacation hotel stay in order to qualify for this. Remember, Delta Vacations does not sell air only. Everything, if you have air on a booking, it has to be air in hotel or air in a car, at least on all your bookings. But it's booked by the end of May, and it started the beginning of May. So if you had any out there, they're accruing. So hopefully we've got some Archer Evo agents out there getting some money towards their flights in the future.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, travel agents, for taking your time to learn and gain knowledge from this webinar with Mary. And also, Mary, thanks for taking your time to show the agents how to book multi-destinations and then answer their questions at the end. So I hope everyone has a wonderful Wednesday. Stay tuned. Delta Vacations Weeks is not over. We will have more training. So join us this week and have some fun. Stay safe and happy booking, travel agents.
Thanks, advisors. Thank you again.